Greetings and salutations, fine people. I'm Patty Alvarez. Welcome to The Good Soul, a show where we'll have supercharged chats with everyday humans from all walks of life and unpack what in their story will inspire us all. We'll extract the untapped wisdom, distill it, and serve it up to you in all the right ways that will engage, enlighten, and most of all, inspire growth within your soul. I think people are awesome. So join me on this journey through the hearts and minds of ordinary people to uncover the good soul within you. This is The Good Soul. Hello, world. Welcome to The Good Soul. I can't believe this. We're on episode 19, and I'm so excited for today's episode, calling it Leaning In to Life and Loving It. And I am lucky enough to be sitting with Mamie Lee. Welcome, Mamie.
Thanks so much for having me today. This is so fun.
I know. I agree. I'm already having fun even before we turn the camera on. We're having a good chat. It's so funny because when the show starts, and I'm sure you go through this on the station, I'm like, wait, stop. Let's stop talking because I'm getting all jazzed up.
Yes, we have many times that we're like talking before a segment or in a break. And we're like, wait, stop talking. Save this for the radio. Yeah.
Reel it in.
Yeah.
So let me give you a little bit of history. And I think what's kind of cool about today is that I'm going to get to know a lot about you along with our viewers and listeners. So that really is exciting to me. Mamie is, and I'll tell you from my perspective how I know you, and then you can kind of fill in the blanks. You are co-host, is what I would call
Yes, co-host of Good Morning LKN.
Yes, with Justin. And how do you say his last name?
Oh gosh, you're gonna put me on the spot here. Giuseppes.
That's
I've sat across from him long enough. I should know, but I always pause a little bit because I don't want to mess it up. Being named Mamie gets mispronounced a lot.
Just said to you a couple. I'm like, am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Am I messing it up? So yeah, she is lucky enough to be on our morning show. We have a local radio station, WSIC, and that I really am excited to get into how you landed that, but I think we have a lot of work to do before we get to that place.
Definitely.
But in the meantime, I will say to our viewers and listeners is I'm totally enamored with her. And as somebody who's working on becoming Oprah someday, you are literally one of my top 3 go-tos when I need either inspiration
or
or
so kind.
It's true. Like, how do I behave? You're so great. I just think of Memoirs of a Geisha. You're great at the art of conversation. You really are. You're fantastic. So it's no surprise that you got a job as a radio host.
Well, thank you.
So I'm excited in this segment to uncover how you got there. So in the meantime, tell me a little bit about your life. Where'd you come from and all that stuff?
Yeah. So I grew up about an hour-ish from here in Shelby, North Carolina. Real small town. Great place to grow up. Dad is a pastor. Mom was an elementary school principal.
Okay.
So as Southern as they come, my name's Mamie. That's my real name. It's not short for anything.
What are your grandkids going to call you?
Yeah, Mamie.
Okay. Oh, Mamie. That's okay.
Mamie.
Not Mama. Is it Mama or Mima?
I'm on this thing, now grandmas never like Grandma, Mimi. And I was like, you know what? We just need a good old Meemaw somewhere. So maybe I'll
that's the word.
I had a Meemaw. My husband had a Meemaw. So I was like, yeah, I think I might just go back to Meemaw, Mamaw, one of those kind of names.
I think that Mima is one of the coolest words. And I think I said to somebody, one of my friends from New York, I think I want my grandkids to call me Mima. And they were like, I don't know.
Well, my mom was Marmy because I have 3 sisters. So she had 4 girls.
Okay.
And so she was always Marmy. Dada, we called him Dada. And so just a very close-knit, really tight family. I'm one of 4 girls. My mom's one of 6.
Wow.
Dad's one of 8. Giant family.
God.
And so then I only had 1 child, but I was like, you know what? But she has cousins galore. She has 10 cousins.
Yes.
So, fun to have. And we just have a very close knit, very Southern very classic, grew up in the 80s and 90s. Just a very classic upbringing, nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. But Dad being the pastor, Mom being the principal of the elementary school, couldn't get away with a thing. Not a thing.
Well,
couldn't get away with one thing.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is no sneaking out. You're going to get caught. It doesn't matter what you do because somebody's mama, especially in a small town, is going to tell somebody. So got in trouble a lot. Not for anything crazy out of the ordinary, party here.
Routine stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't end up in juvie or anything.
No, nothing like that. But yeah, very just great upbringing. Super close with my whole family. I have 40 2 first cousins on my dad's side.
42
first cousins.
Wow.
on
And
my
what
dad's
about,
side.
and now they're all starting to have children.
Yeah. So on my dad's side of the family, there's about 150 of us now.
So what do y'all do with the holidays? Is it?
Holidays are hard. We just do these. I mean, everybody's, all the first generation, which is my dad's generation, we've lost a couple of them. And my dad's lost a brother. My mom passed. And then my dad's sister's husband has passed away. But they try to get together pretty regularly.
Is everyone local still?
Dad grew up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. So most of the family is still there. My mom grew up in the Blowing Rock area of North Carolina.
Okay.
Mom's sisters, brothers are all still living. So I get together with them more than I would say my dad's side of the family. Just the logistics of trying to get 150 people together in the same place. So now it's mostly, which is sad to say, but weddings and funerals is really where we see each other the most.
Right. Do you have like little breakaway groups?
We do have breakaway groups. Yeah. And because we are so close together, there's some of us that are closer than others. I couldn't tell you what every single one of my cousins are doing these days, but the ones that I'm close to, my mom and I have 8 cousins that are all born around the same year that I was. And so, all girls too. So we've remained close, the ones that we hang out with the most. But yeah, great upbringing in Shelby, and then went to Gardner-Webb, studied broadcast journalism.
Right. So you did go to school.
I did go to school for it. A lot of people asked me, did you go to school? And I did, with a different trajectory in mind, though. I was going to be on TV. I was going to be the next Katie Couric. That was my trajectory. And went to school, did great, loved it. First job, the schedule was just horrible. First job was at an NBC affiliate in Greenville, South Carolina, and I was on the producing side of the job. And it was, I did the 6 and 11 o'clock news, producing those two, like a junior producer for those shows.
Okay. Is this pretty much fresh out of college?
This is straight out of college. This is straight out of college. This is 20, 21-year-old Mamie, and just realizing that when you get off at midnight, none of your friends want to really hang out anymore. I was also driving an hour down to Greenville, South Carolina to go to work every day too. So I'm getting home midnight, 1 a.m. I had no social life as a 21-year-old. So
it's thankless work.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I could not see the big picture. And so I was like, I'm going to get out of this. So ended up moving into sales. Sales, promotions.
In the same field.
In the same television field. So spend the next 15 years or the next, I guess, 5 years working in a couple of local television stations in the Charlotte market. Got pregnant with my daughter. Was living in Shelby with her dad at the time. And so decided to become a stay-at-home mom. Okay. So then it's like, okay, you're going to be fulfilled by being a stay-at-home mom. And lots of people are. I was not. And so I'm starting little business over here. Yeah. I'm starting mom group over here. I'm doing all these little things, to try to fulfill that void that was kind of in my life of the entrepreneurial spirit, the need to work. Like it's just something I had. It's something my mom always had. Yeah. But I, tried to convince myself that I could be fulfilled as a stay-at-home mom. And I 10 years later realized, no, I'm not. Okay. And I like to work and I enjoy working, and that's what brings me joy. Yeah. I'm
right there with you. And I have questions because I have a lot to say about that. Yeah. But we're going to wrap up this segment because we have a lot to unpack here. But coming up next, we're going to find out a little bit more about this working mom. And there's another little big facet to her professional life. So don't go away. We will see you on the other side on The Good Soul. Hey, welcome back to The Good Soul, episode 19. We are talking leaning into life and loving it. I'm here with Mamie Lee. I'm so excited to learn even more about you. So I really hold this whole topic very near and dear to my heart is the stay-at-home mom syndrome. And I remember seeing a movie years back with Ashley Judd and Ellen Barkin, and she was kind of being shamed for working. Right. And the author of this book who wrote about all the horrible working mothers was on her talk show. And she's like, well, what are you doing right now sitting here on my talk show talking, which I thought was really interesting. But another interesting point is going to the PTA meetings, and my daughter was in the women's choir, and I found something really similar in the culture of these mothers who participate is that they have kids and their kids get to high school, and it could maybe happen in first grade, or for me it happened around like 11th grade where I started getting ants in my pants. I worked the whole time, but a lot of these mothers would sit around the table, and I worked for Johnson and Johnson, and at our board meetings, and I used to say, honey, like, God, you must have really missed working because we're talking about costumes for,
Right.
like a Sound of Music. Right. You're taking this way too seriously. Go back to work, lady.
That's what I'm saying. For the moms who enjoy it, more power to them. I wanted to with everything in me. And I wouldn't even call it like, it wasn't even postpartum depression. It was just like, there's no bagels on Fridays coming to my house. There's no sitting by and talking about what's going on The Bachelor this week. Just those little bits too, but also that fulfillment of like doing a good job. And with a child, yes, it is like such an important job to raise this child. But at the same time, you don't get that you don't get that instant validation. And that's something that I like to have. I like to see the numbers come through and be like, yes, you're doing a good job.
Checking your boxes.
And with your child, you can't do that. They look at you one moment, they love you. The next moment, they hate you. And you're just like, I hope I'm doing the right thing for them. But I just needed that external validation for myself. But when Katie's my daughter, when she was about 10 years old, her dad and I decided to separate.
Right.
And so it was devastating. It was hard to think about what life was going to be like as a single mother.
We were about that age too.
Yeah. But I knew that I could go back to work, and I knew that I would do a good job because I'd done a good job before, and I knew how well I thrived in that environment. And so thankfully, and I talk about, luck is such a part of it, but it's also about the opportunity. It's about what you prepared for. But luckily, my daughter's kindergarten teacher, her cousin was the general manager at a TV station in Charlotte.
Okay.
And I said, I'll do any job.
Yeah.
I'll scrub toilets.
Sweep the floor.
I need a job. I need a salary, and I need insurance. And I was like, whatever I can do. And they're like, there's an assistant job open for you. And I was like, I'll take it.
Done.
And so thankfully, me volunteering in her class showed the work ethic that I had, that I was willing to do anything to help out. And the good word that she put in with him. And then my experience that I had before, I had the degree. I had 5 years of experience before I went to stay home with her. And so was able to take that, and I just went back in as a sales assistant and worked my way up. So
I still feel like you shouldn't write off the whole Katie Couric thing. P.S. By the way, but we can get into that. Maybe that's a whole other episode.
I have a new goal.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm excited to hear this. I'm excited to hear this.
Yeah.
So, what brought you guys from Shelby to Cornelius?
So it was that. It was me needing to find a job. It was me just needing to say, all right, I need to be employed. I want more opportunities for my daughter. Here's the skill set that I have. Where can I go to do that? So it was a combination of all of those. I wanted more for her. Shelby, just a small town, right? Great place to grow up. But as far as opportunities, not a lot. And it is very much a good old boy network there.
Okay.
Not to say that doesn't exist around here, but it was definitely there. And if you don't know somebody's mom who knows somebody who knows somebody, it was just going to be hard for me to prove just my worth, right, to work ahead, to get ahead. And so having those more opportunities for her, wanting her to have, access to more things, different views, different cultures and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if we move to the Charlotte area, I can work. But I loved Lake Norman. I loved Mooresville.
So even when you were in Shelby,
when I was a kid,
even growing up,
we would come up and spend time on.
So where would you go back? Like, not that it was the dark ages, but
it was the 90s. So we'd go up to Mooresville.
Like Queen's Landing.
Yeah, we had an old cabin right next to Stotts Marina that we would use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No internet, no air conditioning, no TV. It was just a go and spend time at the lake. And it was just a lot of floating on the dock, riding our old grubby jet skis around, taking the old pontoon boat out that we, the seats rotted out. So we pulled the seats out and just you bring your own folding chair.
Bring the lawn chairs. Hey, listen, nobody's having any more fun. Yeah, whatever it takes.
So much joy in that space. And so then for me to think, okay, where do I want to live where I'm going to feel peaceful, calm, and joy? And it was the lake for me. Like, I need to be somewhere where I can see the water or I can walk to the water easily. And another opportunity came up that I had reached out to a real estate agent, Claudia Grizik, who also has a show, Today's Real Talk. I had reached out to her about a house that I was potentially, when Katie's dad and I were still together, potentially interested in because we had discussed maybe moving to this area eventually.
Okay.
And reached out to her about a house. Didn't happen. She calls me as I'm in the process of separating. Hey, do you still need a house? And I was like, actually, yes. Actually, it's just me. And now I have no money at all. And she was like, great, I can help you.
I need something for free.
Yeah. And I didn't even tell her the lake was one of my things that I wanted. I just knew if I could be close enough to a park where I could walk down there after work, that would be great. And she found me a beautiful condo on the lake.
Oh, wow.
In
Cornelius. I think Cornelius is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, major score.
Yeah. So
That's
just
awesome.
such a sweet moment too, just one of those things, right? She had no idea what space I was in, but she reached out to me as well and created this beautiful relationship that I have and friendship that I have with her now as well.
Oh, great. Yeah. And I think God works in mysterious ways, and life works in mysterious ways. And I one of my favorite sayings too is back to the whole work thing is, everyone has good luck, but it has to find you working, which is clearly, I feel like this is the kind of your modus what is it? Modus operandi?
Yeah, absolutely.
Something like that. So, okay. So this is really, really important. And I mean, this kind of defines you to me, maybe second to Good Morning Lake Norman, but do I dare call you the meme queen?
You can call me the meme queen. Some people do, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so
it's not a name that I made up for myself, just to clarify.
It. Okay.
I want to say Justin might have made that one
Okay,
up
well, I will crown you the meme queen on the Good Soul Show
thank
for
you.
sure. Okay, so tell our viewers and listeners about this whole experience that you're having.
So we're in the midst of the pandemic. Everybody's doom scrolling their phone. I'm trying to
doom scrolling.
teach my 8th grader, whatever 8th graders learn, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you, teachers.
Yeah.
Times 1,000 trying to help her learn. I was newly married because my husband and I got married in 2019. And so September 2019. So pandemic 2020, newly married.
Okay.
We're all in this 1,100 square foot condo still on the lake. Gorgeous place. Love it. Great when I'm the only one there. When everybody's there, plus we had a new dog, and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm about to lose it. And so it's like, I just need to laugh. Mm-hmm. I just need to laugh about something. I need to find humor in this. And my mom taught us, like, find humor in everything.
Yeah.
In the meantime, my mother is suffering with a severe case of COVID. And so really, like, wherever I can find bits of joy is what I'm trying to do, right? Because it's very easy just to sit and wallow in the pity pot is what I call it. Sure. But what can I do to bring some joy to myself? And if this makes me laugh, maybe it'll make 3 other people laugh. Mm-hmm. And maybe that'll bring them some joy in the midst of this really, really hard time that we're all going through collectively together, right? So if we're collectively going through a hard time, maybe we can collectively laugh about some things together. And I'd seen some pages that had like Charlotte memes, funny stuff about Charlotte that would sprinkle in Lake Norman, and I would send them ideas. And then one day it was just like, oh, I'll just do this. I can do this. I can be funny. I think I can be funny. But it was all just about like, if I can make myself laugh, maybe somebody else will laugh. And my third post got 500 likes. And I was like, oh.
Whoa.
Okay. Maybe this is a niche that somebody hasn't tapped into yet.
Was there any strategy to you getting followers?
No. This is from my background in digital advertising because I worked in TV, but I moved into the digital advertising space.
Okay. So you had a little bit of a background.
So I had the background in that. And the other part was like, this will be an experiment because I was still working in television at the time for one of the big names in the market. And I was losing some of that creative side because once you get into like the bigger corporate side, it's more about like, you know, leading a team of people and less about like actually doing that creative part. So I missed that side of me as well. And so like, can I build a organic social media following? Never putting any money towards it. I'm not going to do any paid. We're not doing any boosted anything. We're just going to build an organic social media following over the culture of Lake Norman. Mm-hmm. And because I grew up coming here, because I lived there, because I understood the culture, it was easy to create that following. Easy is a maybe not the right word, but I understood the culture. And so I could get the people who grew up here forever, who understood what it used to be like when we were here before there was Birkdale, before there was Exit, all the exits, you know, all the other exits that we had.
Well, you also happen to be very intelligent and you do have a strong sense of humor. And with all of that, you really have neatly packaged it into something very, very spectacular.
Well, thank you. Thank you for
I've been scrolling, like trying to learn more about you in preparation.
Really, like what's just going to be fun for me. They don't all hit. You know, I still have some. I'll put something out there. It'll get 50 likes. I'm like, whatever, move on to the next one. I thought it was funny. It was fun for me. And so we'll just move on to whatever the next thing is.
So for our entrepreneurial spirits out there, have you monetized this?
I have monetized it.
That's great.
So just in the since about last summer,
Okay.
I had some people reach out to me, and that was never my goal, was never to monetize it. And I'll say to those people who are trying to be the influencer, I still don't feel like that's what I am, but those people who are trying to be the influencer,
Mhm.
just lean into what you like. Don't try to create content for what you think everybody else wants to see.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
And that's really what it is. And I have a friend of mine who is an influencer that does giant brand deals. We were roommates. We're still great friends. Our daughters are friends. She has hundreds of thousands of followers, and she actually reached out to me last summer, and I never put my face on there. I never did, because I was like, nobody's gonna think I'm the one behind it. I don't have that influencer look. I don't have the hair, all the things.
Yes, you do.
I'm not a size 0. I can't do these. Well,
wait a sec.
I can't do these brand deals with these big. This is the story that I was telling myself.
Let's take a beat.
Okay.
Let's take a beat, because I think you're stunning, and I love to look at you on the page.
Thank you.
And before we go, LKN Memes, is that what it is?
LKN Memes on Instagram, on Facebook.
Okay,
Yep.
great. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up this segment, and we'll see you on the flip side for our segment 3 and talking WSIC. Good morning, Lake Norman. Don't go away. Greetings. Welcome back. We're already on our 3rd segment, episode 19 of The Good Soul. We are talking leaning to life and loving it. I couldn't possibly come up with an accurate name. I should have asked you, what should we call this episode when we talked about it?
No, I love it.
I like it
life.
too.
I mean, it really is. It's just about loving life. And that's something my mom really taught me was, every moment is, I'm not going to say a gift. That sounds so cliche, but like, every moment can be cherished, right? And like, everything's not good, but we can just say, I'll take the good, because that, it comes with it. The good and the bad comes with it. I think Mom would say, it might not be well with my circumstances, but it's well with my soul.
Yes.
It's something that she would say a lot.
Yeah.
Which I carry with me all the time. But,
what was your mother's name, by the way?
Dawn Neely.
Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mama
Okay.
Dawn. And we
Mama
called her
Dawn.
Marmy. And, so just, but my friend, she was like, people just want to know who the real you is. And I was like, no. And I fought back and forth with her on it. And she was like, just try it.
Well, we have appearance paranoia.
Yeah.
I mean, before the show, he's fixing my
Right.
chicken cutlet, and we're like, so.
Yeah. And so I just showed my face. And I think I gained 5,000 followers in 6 months just when I started like letting people know who I am. And just being more and more real with people, right? It's easy to hide behind the funny, but then, and it's not like I'm putting out anything that's like heartbreaking or hard or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think it's just people want to get to know who the person is behind the page. And so that really did grow it substantially.
Is involving giving yourself a personal presence.
Yes.
So explain to everybody what basically is the page about.
The page is just funny stuff about Lake Norman. That's it. And then the monetization part is that I do feature local businesses on my page. So I'm a huge proponent of local businesses. I love local small businesses.
Yes.
I love the Lake Norman area. So we're putting those together, because when I did work in TV, what I loved about it was the sales side of it was helping those local businesses grow. Because some of these businesses, the big ones, the big Chevrolets, the Fords, the big national brands, it's just a line item in their budget.
Yeah.
They're spending this money because they have to, but some of these smaller businesses, they hand you their money and they're like, this is what I have. This is all that I have.
Don't take it lightly.
And I took it very seriously that I'm helping grow your business, and when you succeed, we both succeed together. And I thought that was just such a special thing that I really learned to love, because I love building relationships.
Sure.
And I think that's one of the other reasons that this page, this LKN Means page, has been successful, is because it's all for me about building relationships. You DM me, I'm going to write you back like we've known each other forever.
Right there. High five.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And it's never going to be like, I'm in Target. Hey, are you that meme girl? Yes. What's your name? I want to meet you. I don't ever want to get.
You're never going to be like, no pictures.
No, I don't
pictures.
ever want to feel like I'm going to be one of those people. And, I don't call myself a celebrity. I don't call myself an influencer. I don't do these things. I'm just here to help uplift this area, bring more attention to this area, and uplift the businesses within this area and the small business community. That's what I want to do.
I'm inspired by that. We're thinking about, Justin and I've been talking about this since day one, monetizing the show a little bit. And I have students who are realtors and own businesses around town, and they're like, I want to do something with your show.
Right.
And I'm like, I just want to get good enough where I feel worthy to take your money, because I agree with you that it's not something that you want to take lightly with a small business. So
definitely.
But that's it. That's an exciting part of it all, because it really does kind of validate, like, they like me. They really like me. I mean, I'm
and I try not to be, I think if I would have started the page in my 20s, but I'm in my 40s now.
Yeah.
If I would have started in my 20s, it would have been more about the likes, the validation of like, oh, they like me, they like me. But now it can just be like, I just put it out there. Right? The wisdom that comes with age is, I'm just going to put it out there. I think it's fun. I told Justin Day, I was like, I put one out yesterday. I thought it was hilarious. One person laughed at it. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't all hit. They don't all hit.
Well,
but it's fine.
When people share it too.
Right.
I mean, my best friend who's in Austin, Texas, I mean, all day she's sending me these 8-second clips where I'm rolling on the floor.
Right.
Lately it's been the dog with that like horn in the background.
Yes.
And she's like the funniest person in the world to begin with. So, all right. So this is a really important part of it too. This is how we pretty much met.
Right.
How did you end up becoming a co-host for the Good Morning Lake Norman show?
So it was through Instagram. So kids out there, work hard. No,
it's not a waste of time.
You can't all get it from Instagram, but you do have to work hard. You have to create a platform. But yeah, I got it through Instagram. So DM'd with the WSIC Instagram, and
And who was the person behind it? Do you know?
I think it was Richard that was behind it at the time.
Okay.
And I was like, be glad to be a guest on the show anytime you need a guest. The show had started. I found out about the show because another friend of mine was a guest on the show.
Okay.
Started watching, thought it was funny, liked the vibe that it was just Justin and Bill that were doing it at the time. But just thought it was funny. And like, hey, there's a morning show about Lake Norman. What else would I do? In the morning.
Yes.
What else would I watch in the morning while I'm getting ready for work? So I just started like being a fan of the show. And through a DM just said, I'd love to be a guest on the show. They invited me to be a guest on the show. And the chemistry was just there with the three of us from like day one, and
big time.
Yeah. But I'll just say, like, you go back, it's not like I just sent a DM, I was on the show, I had all the preparation beforehand. So the conversations of, yes, I've done TV. Yes, I've done public speaking. Yes. This is something that I've done before. So I had that preparation. And I think I sent you the quote of, luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
And I fully believe that.
Oh, yeah. I said a version of that.
Yes, I fully believe that, right? You have to have the preparation. You have to put the work in.
Absolutely.
You can't just sit and wait for it to come to you, but it's all with the best intentions that I went on the morning show before I went to work that day. And so, I'm not coming on the morning show thinking I'm going to be the next radio star or even the next host of a local morning show. I just went on because I thought that would be fun, and it was. I had a great time. So I met with.
When was the DM around? A year ago? 3 years ago?
It's like October, November last year, because I think it was on the show right around Thanksgiving last year.
So October, November of 2023.
Yeah,
so we're approaching it. So wow, it seems like you've been on it. I mean,
I started January 1st. January 2nd was my first show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did that all unfold?
So it was just a conversation, I had with Justin, and they had been looking for a female for the morning show. And, some of the people they had talked to just weren't the right fit. And just some conversations that we had, we had lunch together and just, they were like, I said, I'll try it. I'll try it for a month and see if I like it. And I did. It was really fun. I was still working my other full-time job as a marketing director for a company who trained attorneys to do marketing. That's what I was doing. I was helping attorneys learn how to do marketing for their law firms.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, lots of fun. No, I really didn't. I learned there's a whole lot of different kind of. I learned a lot doing that job too.
The boringest of jobs can be fun when you're with the right
but we had a good time.
So basically, I'd like to say, always growing up a Howard Stern fan, you are kind of like the Robin Quivers of Lake Norman, which to me, like, I crown you. Like, that's a really cool. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really and what an amazing buildup that you've had. I mean, when I look at your career path and just you saying the words Katie Couric in the first segment, I mean, to me that like it warms my heart because you really are doing something fantastic that very much is in relation to where you wanted to go. And it can take you. I mean, the entrepreneur and my dad in me is saying, I want you to have fun, but I'm like, I want to be a manager. I'm like, you're doing so great. Like, keep it up, girl. Keep it up.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
own
it really is just like, am I doing something that's going to well, my mother, I spoke about her earlier. She did pass away from from COVID.
From COVID,
and
she did.
So much, and that just makes you reevaluate everything in your life when you lose somebody suddenly. It was a short bout of illness too for her. So when you lose somebody suddenly, it really does make you reevaluate. So what I'm doing in my life, is it feeding me emotionally, spiritually, or financially, really? And that's what I said. If it's not hitting those three things, if it's not helping me in any of those three ways, then I'm going to have to let it go.
Yeah.
And so it really just made me sit back and look and say, all right, what do I want to do? So am I going to start my own business? Am I going to try to go in a different direction? What am I going to do? And so I took the job with the marketing, helping attorneys do their marketing, as like, this will be my placeholder until I kind of figure out where I want to go next.
Well, yeah, you got to pay the
bills. I need a job. You got to pay the bills.
You got. So, so did you keep the job and do the radio show?
I kept the job and did the radio show from January until May.
And then you were able, and I saw now you're
and now I'm full time with the radio station. So I came on May 1st full time with the radio station.
What's your life like? Do you have to be at the station by 6:30? How do you guys prep for the show?
Bill gets there at 6:30. Our fantastic producer. I should be there at 6:30. I think I rolled in about 7:00 today. We go live at 7:06. But yes, we do a lot of prep work during the week. And post show, we do a lot of prep work post show too. I don't think I'll ever be a morning person.
Oh, really?
But I love what I do.
Morning.
I love what I do so much. It makes it easy to get up. There's no more Sunday scaries anymore.
I love it. Okay, so we're gonna have fun in the last segment. We're gonna talk about some of our favorite Lake Norm memes posts and maybe some funny WSIC stories if you have any, guys. So we'll see you in just a couple minutes on The Good Soul. Thanks for being here. Welcome back, everybody, to The Good Soul. We're episode 19, and we're already on to segment 4, so we're going to soak in every moment of goodness that we can.
Good.
Yes, leaning into life and loving it with Mamie Lee of Lake Norman Memes. You can find her on Instagram and, of course, on WSIC, Good Morning Lake Norman. So welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's talk about some of our favorite moments. This was fun show prep, and he said to me last night, he's like, baby, are you ready? And I'm like, I think we're going to do great. And I was a little bit, I don't want to say nervous, but I was a little like, and then I sat down real quick and emailed you my show notes. But the most fun part was going through the LKN memes and seeing. So Mamie has a Instagram page that's become quite successful. I got schooled a little bit. Tell me a little bit about followers versus exposure.
So this is, everybody looks at followers when they're looking at social media. And it really, that's such a vanity number, because I have, almost right on the cusp of 9,000 followers on Instagram, about 4,500 on Facebook. But I reached 5 million accounts in the last 30 days. So it's about reach, right? It's saying like, you're going to create content that's going to be shareable. When you talk about your friend that sends you those things, they don't always like it. They don't always comment on it. Mm-hmm. They're looking at it. They're sending it to somebody else. And so that's what increases your reach. And that's what increases your visibility in the area. Mm-hmm. And really, when you're talking about monetizing, right? When these brands are contacting you, that's how you can monetize it.
They care about your reach.
Yeah, they care about your reach. And my reach is I'm going to say 99%. I won't say 100, but 99% Lake Norman. So I don't have bot followers in other
Nigeria
countries.
Yeah.
So a lot of these big influencers too, most of their followers will be in other countries and stuff. So I say, if I promote your brand, if I promote your small business, you're reaching Lake Norman. You're not going to reach these outlying, and my outliers are Charlotte. So, it's still not like crazy, off the grid. We're not going to Pakistan or something to reach these.
Yeah, we had
people.
Somebody really like, I forget what country I saw on our YouTube. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I think it was like Nigeria or something.
They'll still fall in there somewhere, but I do. I really, really try to get rid of those bot followers when I see them come up, because they're going to hurt your brand and they're not going to help the businesses that you're going to work with either.
Right. So for us people like me as a podcaster, I think of somebody like Kylie Jenner or Kim Kardashian. So Kylie Jenner, I think right now, maybe Taylor Swift beat her because Taylor Swift is on this high, right? But so they're posting, but are we sharing Kim Kardashian's bikini pictures in, St. Bart's?
I don't think so. I think she's just built the brand, right? When you get to a certain level that you've built your brand, you don't really have to concern. And it just depends on what your strategy is, too.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Right?
Are there strategies?
Yeah,
and did you plan it
they have a whole team of publicists behind them. I have a whole team of people that are help them figure out what their strategy is.
Sure.
everybody asked, like, we love what y'all do. And I say it too. I was like, yeah, our team is a team of me. Like it's just me trying to figure it out. And so like, if you have all of that behind you, that's great. But just know that you can do it too. You just have to be willing to put in the work. You have to, it's a grind. I mean, I make the joke, I became an overnight success in 4 years.
Yes. I feel like somebody said that. I think it was like Mark Wahlberg or somebody, some celebrity said
like
that.
10 years. I think that's his quote. It's 10 years to be an overnight success. But it took me 4. And I'm not trying to go national either. My new goal though is to be on Dancing with the Stars. So I've told Justin, I was like,
oh my God,
I just want to be C-list celebrity enough to get on. So
you and Shayna Shea. Did you watch Vanderpump? Yes. She was really upset because Ariana got on and she didn't.
Yep.
Okay, so, oh God, I just lost my thought. It was really funny, but that's okay. We'll pick up where we were going to go was some of our favorite posts.
Yeah.
So, why don't you tell me? Because I have my list, but I was saying things and you start pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, I would say, I know, I pulled my phone out because I was trying to think
no, that's fine.
What, I'm going to say that third post that I did, it was about how to pronounce Jatan.
Oh, okay.
Jatan.
It's
actually Jatan is how it's the official pronunciation. I got it from Woody Washington, the mayor of Cornelius, who's been here forever.
Okay.
Jatan. But when I first moved here, I was calling it Jetton. Jetton Park.
Who doesn't call it Jetton?
Everybody does.
Yeah.
It looks like Jetton. Yeah. And that was my third post. And it was just how do you pronounce it? And it was either Jatan or Jetton. And it was the old meme of the girl pointing at the cat, that classic one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I just put underneath, I was like, it's Jatan, I did it phonetically as Jatan, it's Jetton, and that was it. And that was, that was the one that launched it all. And it was just like, okay, there's other people who have felt the same way as me.
Yeah.
And so it's just about, I talk about connection relationships, creating that. And 500 likes later, I was like, all right, this could be something.
When was this?
This was, post number 3, so 2021. This was summer 2021.
About a year, a little bit after COVID started.
Yep.
Okay, I have a request. Can you do some type of funny post on why nobody uses their blinkers around here? Do you ever hear that?
I'm telling you, the traffic ones, those are probably the ones that do the best.
They trigger me.
Yeah, I'm like, the traffic ones, those do really, really well.
Yeah.
Anything that we do about like transplants and I know you guys
don't take it personally. We don't take it personally at all. We have transplants in New Jersey.
Yeah, I always say like thanks for the pizza, but don't change anything else. That's kind of my go-to.
That's fine. No, I can take
good
it.
Pizza.
Yeah.
If you grew up here, we did not have good pizza until the 90s. I think Brooklyn South was one of the first ones that I went to, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like actual pizza. Yes.
I know Tony's. We love Tony's.
Oh
too.
yeah, Tony's is good too. Yeah,
and those big mega slices.
Yes. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I mean, I totally understand that, but I have to tell you, girl, you're the minority at this point.
I know.
There's more
right?
me here than there is you at this point.
Yeah, so to get that little niche population too that actually grew up around here, and understands what it used to be like before we moved here too, and before before the boom. But I also tell people like, I understand you're mad about traffic, but I moved here from somewhere with no traffic. There's a reason. There's nothing to do.
Totally. Anybody, I hate to say this, I don't mean to sound crass, but anybody with a half a brain understand. Like, things are cool and there's traffic because there's awesome.
Cool stuff
like,
to do. I mean,
and what are we here to do?
We live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. We have the access to the lake and all the other amenities and the proximity to Charlotte. And so like that, I mean, that's one of the reasons I moved here, right?
Yes.
I don't want to go on vacation.
I know. He never wants to. He gets all mad at me. Well, I'm a big hero's journey person, and I believe when you go away on vacation, you bring back more beauty, and that's part of what makes your present environment cool. So,
but I do. My husband and I, we just love living here. Like we just absolutely love it.
Agreed.
And no matter whether I was on Good Morning LKN or had the memes or whatever, I would be the biggest proponent of this area just because I love it so much. Right. I don't want everybody to move here, but yeah, like when people move here, I'm just excited for them. Like, how did you find out about this place? I grew up an hour from here.
Yeah.
But how else do people find out about this place? So I just love it. So yeah, I do. I make fun of the transplants. I make fun of traffic always.
Sit down.
The sit down. That's my highest viewed post yet.
Who is the woman?
Over 7 million. It's a SNL actress, and that was actually a promotion for WSIC that I did. We do a Teacher of the Month contest on WSIC, and I was like, we need to really boost this one up a little bit. What's going to make the teachers in this area share, engage,
Yeah.
maybe this will hit 100,000. That was my thought. And I told the guys, I was like, I feel like this one's going to be the first 100,000 one that I do for you guys.
Oh, yes.
It's almost like Babe Ruth pointing out his home run. I was calling it, and they were like, we've never seen somebody call it, but never thought it would go to 7 million. So
you have to look it up, though. So can you explain it a little bit, because it really is hysterical.
It's this bit from SNL. It's probably 7 seconds long, and she says, and my mom was a teacher, my sisters are teachers, and so I just resonated with it, which was like, I have a new word, and it's TSIDDOWN that spells sit down. Sit down. And the caption was just like, teachers in Teachers the month of May, which is so true. If you have any teachers in your life, or if you were in school, May is just a mess. May is just testing, and kids don't want to sit still, and all these things. And so it just resonated with not just the Lake Norman community, which it hit 100,000 within. I think we hit 1 million the first day, which was just unbelievable to me.
Oh my God.
So everybody just wants to know, how do you go viral? Well, number one, that does not need to be your overall goal to go viral, because I went viral. I've gone viral. If you're not going to keep that relationship up, keep that engagement up, you're not going to keep it up. It's just going to fall flat again. So everybody wants to go viral. Yeah, you got to keep that momentum going afterwards. Yeah, you have to be consistent. Yeah. And that doesn't mean posting at the same time every day. It just means being consistent, right?
Yeah.
Consistent posting, consistent brand message, consistency in everything that you do.
Sure. And do you tie the Instagram page into the radio show a lot?
I do. So that was once I do a lot of collaborations with the radio show. So if it makes sense for both brands. But that one was just like, hey, we need some more nominees into the teacher contest. What's going to maybe make people stop their scroll? What's going to make people? And I was like, this was funny. This makes me laugh. Maybe this will work.
Are you trying to get into like reaching out to like Dale Jr., involving any like celebrities
really
or local celebrities?
I have a lot of NASCAR drivers that follow me.
Good.
And that's just fun to interact with them and have a good time with them. Bubba Wallace loves Saeed's, and so do I. So we connected on that. Yeah. So we connected. Yeah. And they're here, like the local guys that are here.
I heard Tom Sandoval went to Saeed's after the show, by the way. I
heard that too.
Heard that.
No, I could not. That was a fun show, though. That was a good time.
I had too many Babe Ruths. I wouldn't have made it.
That was a good time. Yeah, but it was just fun to connect with people, fun to get to know people. And I don't care if you have 100,000 followers or 6.
Yeah.
If we get each other, if we can laugh about the same kind of things, we'll be friends.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, what are we here to do? As you said, as your mother would have said, to just like relish in the moments and to enjoy one another.
And life is short. Life is so short. Even if you live 90 years, that's still like such a blip in time. And so what am I doing while I'm here to add value to the people around me, to encourage my family, and to leave a mark that people are going to remember? My mother, amazing woman. And people still, she's been gone 3 years, and people still just say, gosh, I love your mom so much. Yeah. She taught me so much. I'll hear new stories about her every time I go, every time I see my family, or every time I see one of her friends. I hear a new story about her. My mom had the story of all stories. And so it's just fun to carry that legacy on.
Maybe I hate to do this to you.
I know, we're all
sound words. I think we end on a really positive note. So listen, everybody, you can find her on LKN Memes on Instagram, 7 to 9 a.m. on WSIC Monday through Friday on Good Morning Lake Norman. And of course, you can catch us 4 to 5 Tuesdays and on all your favorite platforms. Mamie, thank you so much for being here today. I see this relationship continuing to grow. And I'm glad I met you. So hope you all are as inspired as I am. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here so much. We love you on The Good Soul.